Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you would get me. I am so excited for you to hear the episode today with my friend Liz, you're going to hear all about her extraordinary skills being a coach, a running coach, a nutrition coach. Spencer is my turtle, and he is so loud today. I actually work with him, and if you can hear the rocks, that's Spencer, like, I don't know, saying hi. I know my friend Debbie will like that because she loves Spencer. But anyways, back to Liz. She is a running extraordinaire, a mom of two beautiful girls. She's now going back to school, and I just adore Liz. We have such a fun friendship of talking shit and and just like we have the same sort of sense of humor. We have the same music taste and I just love her. So, and I know you're going to love her too. This is a great conversation. And we just sort of we talk shit all the time about nutrition and not about people, but about nutrition and sort of like our old mindset and where we are now. And both of us have grown a lot. And it's been really cool to watch each other grow. And I just adore her. So you're going to love this episode. Hopefully you'll have some good takeaways about nutrition, and hopefully some of that food noise will help you with a little bit, because we are really good for the most part at bucking what people say and how people talk and all of the nonsense that you get about your weight and what you eat and all of that stuff. So without further ado, what time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. Oh, and I wanted to say one thing before we start is that I am having a second round of It's Your Effin' Breakthrough. This is my 3-week group coaching program that I just developed. The first round, we're doing it right now. It wraps up week 2 tomorrow. And if you are not in my exclusive content subscription for the podcast, you will not have heard me raving about my own personal breakthroughs that I've had in the last 2 weeks. But I'm going through the program too. And it is amazing what I have discovered about myself through journaling and watching and witnessing the breakthroughs that the first round of guinea pigs, as I lovingly call them, have had has been amazing. It's a 3-week program. The meat of it is Monday through Friday, so it's super easy to sort of catch up if you fall behind during the week. Less than 20 minutes a day, I would say. And then on the weekends, we have a group coaching call where we come together. We talk about our successes. We talk about what goals we want to set for the next week. And if you have listened to me for any amount of time, you know how powerful I feel accountability is. And the group coaching call sort of ties it all in together. And it's a really independent program, but it's really nice to see the community of women come together to support one another, to support one another's goals when they set a boundary or have a hard conversation. And I am feeling like I am really more clear on my own goals and my own relationships and how I need to moving or how I need to, I guess, do things or change up certain things, certain habits, certain discussions and conversations that I have to have, hard conversations that I have to have moving forward. I feel much more clarity, and it's really unearthed some old self-limiting beliefs that I have. So I didn't know the future of the program, but wholeheartedly, I'm doing this again. We are starting round 2, May 5th. I have 5 early bird spots open. I also have a VIP tier option, which does get you a one-on-one call with me, which I know some people love the one-on-one experience to sort of dive into certain issues that they're facing. So that is an option too. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. If you're interested in either of the packages, reach out to me and we will have a discussion about which works best for you. But I want you to have this amazing breakthrough just like we've been experiencing. So now, without further ado, here's Liz. Welcome, Liz, to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. I am so excited to have you here today. Oh my gosh. So like, where do we even begin? I was just thinking in the shower that we should have coordinated a what time is it? Power Greens time. I don't know if you still even have those, but I don't. I have like 9 containers and I don't use them, but
Yeah,
like
I literally
that was
hate
how the
them.
song began. From that, what time is it? Power Greens time.
It's my time for power. Yeah, and I was like, you like love these Power Greens so much. So then I bought the Power Greens, and then I was like, I'm not singing. They're not that good. Like I didn't like them. I was like, oh, and I was not singing like you. And then I would be like, cheers, Power Greens. It was awful. And then I would like choke it down. I was like, awful,
I
awful.
know. I think I'm a weird little bird because a lot of I do enjoy the Power Greens. Like,
Yeah,
but it has to be mixed with something like a hydrate or something, like something else that
yeah,
has another taste.
fruity stuff. Yeah, because otherwise it's like you're licking grass. It's not.
You are. But and
Well,
it's funny because when I would do like that certain program, it would like hype me up. So I'm like, wow, Power
yes,
Greens like gives you energy, not energize, energy.
you were. I just loved your excitement about it, and like the thing I loved about it the most was that it was like genuine Power Green excitement. Like there was no like you weren't making that up. Like you genuinely liked it. You genuinely were excited to sing your song and do your dance. And I was like, maybe I could feel this way. No, I didn't feel that way. I was choking it down, and I felt miserable. No, I didn't feel miserable, but I was like choking it down because I was like, all right, well now I bought this packet of Power Greens that I can't waste because it was what like $40 or something, right? So I'm like, no, we're gonna drink the greens.
You know
So
what? I gotta bring them back. That's my commitment to myself. I need more greens anyways. I'm gonna bring them back. I'm gonna have a little afternoon pick me up of
Power
Power
Green.
Greens. That's what we're
We
gonna
have like
do.
a
That's
Power
it.
Green party.
Did you ever see my friend Laura? Speaking of Power Greens, it was the best moment of my life because she was so drunk in on some trip in Mexico, and she came on her stories and was like, "What?" Oh, no, she didn't sing the song, but she was like drunk and like stirring the Power Greens. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I used to have it saved in my phone, and I
Oh
would
my
bring it
god.
up whenever I needed a good laugh, but
Yeah,
it's gone. I don't know,
that's
like if
amazing.
someone said you can't have this anymore to make yourself laugh. So,
Yeah. So no
um,
more Power Green drunkenness.
no, but like it was the best. Like here I am being healthy with these Power Greens while poisoning myself with alcohol.
That's what we do though. Like I'm like, oh, this is me all the time. I'm like, I gotta hydrate, so I have my water and I'm like hydrating. This is also a Diet Coke, and this is also an energy drink. Like I like this is who I am. I don't like, and I make no apologies. I'm like, I need 3 beverages. Like at all
Yes,
times, I need 3 beverages. Like one is for fun, one is for energy, and one is for hydration. Always.
I
So
love that.
this is who
Well,
I am.
and I think that like that is what we have connected on so much is like this conversation about food and eating
Mm-hmm.
and life enjoyment and I hate to say like the buzzword of balance, it, but there is a little bit of that too, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like just
Yes.
like and so okay, so let's talk about who you are and what you do. So
Yeah.
you have many things. Tell me what you're up to right now.
Okay. So I work full time as a manager at Aflac. That's my corporate job.
I
I
was just trying to think
also
of the motto of Affleck.
yeah,
Where the
yeah.
ducks go. No,
We're
no,
just like
that's
the
not it.
duck. We're
Oh,
all the duck all the
okay.
time. The duck is
There's no motto.
no, there's no necessarily motto. I don't
Okay,
think. I'm
just the
sure there
duck.
is. I'm sure
Okay,
there's something, but there's no. They're the
okay.
duck, and honestly, I love it. Fabulous place to work. Um, so I do that. That's my like corporate life, and then I am a coach through an online community called Balanced Body. So I'm coaching people, supporting them in their nutrition and their fitness and their goals and their life and their like. I mean, the title kind of says it all, right? Like the balanced body, right? It's not
Yeah.
just one of those areas; it's all the areas. So I do that as my like passion side gig, if you will. Um, and I'm back in school part time, so I'm doing that to finish my business degree. Um,
What is
and
that? So
then
tell me about that. That will give you
yeah,
your master's.
No, it's
Or
my
is it?
undergrad,
Oh
actually.
no.
Like, talking about getting
Oh my
things done no
God.
matter how old you are, right? Like, I never had the
I
opportunity to finish
love
when I was
that.
younger. Yeah. So I never had the opportunity to finish when I was younger. And not that I have all this free time now, but I was just like, you're never going to have time. So you figure it out, you make it work. So this semester, I'm taking 3 classes. Um, it's like 9-week courses. It's all online. Yeah. And I
Good
don't
for
have that much to
you.
do. So I'm really excited. And then we're going to have a big party to celebrate me finally. And my goal is to finish before Charlotte, who is in 7th grade. So as long as I finish college before my 7th grader finishes college, then it's a win in my book. But
I love that.
yeah, I'm excited.
Good
I'm
for
excited. It's
you.
so much work, and I'm consistently like, holy crap, there's a lot to do, but it
Yeah.
feels very worth it. Like last night, I was like sitting at the table doing accounting homework, and I was like, this is going to be worth it. You're going to be really happy you did this, like that pep
Yeah.
talk yourself into it, which I've done 1,000 times before. Like every half marathon I run, every time I choose
Yeah.
this food item over that one, and I know it's more aligned with my goals, like all those things, right? Like it's definitely, I can do hard things. So I'll figure it out, right?
That's amazing.
So
I love that. So
I'm
now with the balanced life or balanced
balanced body.
body.
Yeah. Body.
So
Yep.
that does that incorporates fitness,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, there's like
Everything.
a mindfulness. Okay, everything.
Yep. Yeah. So our community has, so we have, I think, 20 different workout tracks. So depending on what you're looking for, whether it be doing your first pull up, there's something to work on that or specific to that. There's a Run Strong program. We have a Toned in 20. Like there's so many different tracks that you would follow depending on what your goals are, what your lifestyle's like, beginner stuff, postpartum programs. And they're all like part of the coaching of that is like helping you if you need things that are modified or changed because of whatever situations. So there's that part of it. So it's not cookie cutter. And then the nutrition side of it. So we talk about all the important things, right? Like I feel like as women, especially women in our middle ages, I guess is what it's called now. Like we have so much on our plate, right? And everyone's just like, get your sleep in and drink your water and and just get your steps and do all these things, right? And so it's like, yeah, okay, we all know all those things, but like, how do we actually make that happen? And that's the thing that we really focus on is like the how behind the things, right? Because like we
Yeah.
all know, like, oh, I'm supposed to drink X amount of water today. Okay, well, what do I do? Like, how do I
Yeah.
make that happen? Right? Like, what's the
Yeah.
reality of that? So yeah. And then there's like stuff like you said too, the mindfulness, like the getting around the breaking the old diet culture BS that we all fight every day and finding that balance of like sometimes you say yes and sometimes you say no. Like that's good too, right? Like it's not
Yes.
and somebody's like yes might be a win for them and somebody's no might be a win for them, right? Like
Yeah.
it's all personalized to that person. So we do a lot of that mindset work too about like breaking through those barriers that are stopping you from what you're trying to achieve or what you want in your life, right? Like
What do you
it's tough.
feel holds people up the most?
I think that people complicate it more than they need to. I
Yeah.
think everybody's like, and it's not even their fault. I think it is, we have all been conditioned, right? Just based upon society and all these things that have been thrown at us that it's like, you got to do 5,000 things, right? Like, you got to switch it up. You got to do all the stuff, right? Like, and really, when you get back to the true basics of it, like, it's not that it's easy, right? Like, none of it is easy, right? It can be very complicated at times. Even for me, like, as a coach, you know how this goes, right? Like, I love lifting. I love running. I love all those things. Sometimes the last thing I want to do is lift or run. Like
Yes.
I know I need to get my protein in, and then the last thing I want to do is eat another piece of chicken or have an egg, right? Like I know that, and I'm a coach, so like I think people get really stuck because they just like they just need some direction, like just somebody to kind of pull them back of like, you don't have to be doing all the things. You're not going to tackle it today. Like every single thing, right? Like, yes, when I was talking about balance, right? Yeah, we talk about nutrition and fitness and mindset and all that, but you're not going to do every single one of those things every single day, right? Like it doesn't just happen overnight. And I think people get super overwhelmed and then it's kind of that like, I don't do anything because
Yes, like
I have
all
to
or
do everything.
nothing.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Or, and I see a lot too, people go, when you talk about all or nothing, like I'm working out once a day or once a week, and now I'm committing to 6 days a week. And I'm like, well, do we think that? I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yes.
love that for you, but also, how are we doing that, right? Because like it's not, that's not the reality of life a lot of times, right? Like you just don't have the time or you just don't have that capacity because of a slew of different things. And I think we've all heard, well, like, those are all excuses. Like, no, they're not all excuses, right? Like that's real life. That's true life
Yeah.
for people. And I think having that supportive community where you can say like kind of that here's the time for tough love and here's the time for like, no, you're not making an excuse. Let's figure it out.
Yes.
Let's talk it through. Let's come up with a different plan, right? Like it's
That one is hard for me. I have a hard
Mhm.
time with that. Like knowing or interpreting it, am I being I hate to say lazy, but am I being
Yes.
lazy or
Do I
is
need to
this a legitimate like listen to my body right now, you
Yes.
know?
It's hard. It is
It
hard.
is. Cuz
Yep.
I am the kind of person who, even when I have something planned and I know I'm going to follow through with it, I'll still during it, I'm like, I don't need to do all of these miles. I don't need to do and like
Yeah.
and I'm like, Melissa, you're so bad. Just stop it and just do it. But like I'm like, do I really need to do this or could I do it later? Or like,
Right.
and it's just insane the mental game. And I think a lot of people don't realize that everyone struggles with that.
hmm Yeah. It's not like you're not going to be motivated all the time. And so it's like, what do you fall back on when you're not motivated? Right? Like, how do you go through that and recognize when it's my body is craving a break or my mind is craving a break versus like I'm just being lazy and I just don't want to and whatever. And I feel like the other part of it is like even just changing that like mindset of that, right? Like I don't think you're necessarily being lazy. There's something that's stopping you from doing that. And so
Yeah.
like what is stopping you? What is is it an actual physical thing that's stopping you, right? Like is it
Yeah.
the time? Is it the fitting it in amongst 500 other things you got to do or is it just maybe some sort of belief that you don't even know? And I think that's the other part that is so important for people that they don't and you know this, like you're a therapist for goodness sake, right? Like there are so many things that are so deep seated in us that we don't even recognize affect our behaviors on other things in our life that we don't think have any effect whatsoever.
Yeah.
And until you deal sometimes with that shit, it's real hard to reach these other goals that you might have because like that's going to continue. Like that's your fallback, right? Like that's always going to be the thing that kind of holds you back from whatever you want in your life. So I think that's a huge barrier for people too. And sometimes you don't even realize it. Like someone
Yeah.
else has to call you out on your shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To like
yes. And
really
that's
get
why
you about
accountability
it.
helps so much. I know for me,
Mm-hmm.
like just
Yeah.
knowing that I'm checking in with someone or that I have someone
Mhm.
to like report to or whatever,
Yes.
like it just helps me. I use social media for that. That's why I use
Yes.
social media
Yep.
so much to be accountable to the goals that I have.
Mhm.
Um, when you started school, when did you start school? This January?
Um, this is my second semester back. So I
Okay.
started, yeah, so like early this year. Yep.
Okay. Now,
Yep.
when you started that, obviously your hours became less. Even,
hmm
I mean, you have two girls, you have a busy running life, and
Yeah.
obviously the jobs. Are
Right.
you someone that does better the more that you have, like in terms of getting it done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been that person like my whole life. I used to like I played sports all through like high school and the college that I started. I played sports and I was that person like if it was in season and I knew I had practice every day or I had games or whatever, my homework was done immediately. Like I got it done, right? Like I didn't procrastinate. And when I don't have stuff to do, it's so much harder for me to then do stuff. Like I'm that person. I love lists. I love calendars. Like we just got one of those electronic calendars. I think it's called a Skylight or something. And you like
Ooh.
put in the stuff. Oh, it's so good. It gives my like
I
like
love
organization heart so much love. I
it.
love it so much. It's so good.
So
But
is it
it's
something
just
that's
like
like up in your house or is it on a phone, on your phone?
so it's both. It's an actual physical thing that's about this big and you like tap on the screen and it brings up your whole family's calendar of like you can
Wow.
do it by month, you can do it by week, you can do it by day. Everybody has a color associated with them. So like if one kid has practice, they put in like their practice and they have the apps on, well, not the little one, but like Charlotte and everybody has the app on their phone. So you can add it and also access it right from your phone. So
Oh,
like
cool.
I delegated that was part of my like hey, I'm going back to school. I cannot take control of everything. I can't manage everybody's schedules. And so get it in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Not my problem, right? If you don't get to the place you need to go to, if you have not done your part to share that in the family calendar. So I had to delegate some of that too because like but it's been it again, it brings me so much. My organizational self
Yeah.
loves it. It's so amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm the same way. Like the more time I have, the more time I will waste a
Yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people get that a lot of the times. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I already have limited time, but I feel like
Mhm.
when you're driven by your goals and like I know the days that I need to get the kids to school myself, I have to get up at 5 to get
Yep.
up, to get my workout in so that I can drop them off and I
Mhm.
can have that
Yep.
all set because I will
Yep.
I will run out of time. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when you're up against a time crunch and it's either do this or miss my workout. I'm going to
Yes.
choose getting up 100 times out of 100 because I feel so much better when I get my workout in.
Yep. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about your journey with nutrition because I just
Yeah.
think it's the best. Like
Yeah.
you've come so far and I
Yeah.
mean I didn't know you back then, but like walk us through
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So as I said, I was an athlete like all through high school and into college and everything. So it was easy, right? I was an athlete. I was doing stuff every day. I was running. I had that little like teenager metabolism and things were awesome. But I was always the big girl. I was always the big girl. I'm almost 6'1". I am definitely, I'm like broad. I'm what I guess what the kids call thick. I don't know, whatever. Like I'm a big girl. Like it is what it is. That's who I've always been. Um, and even as as a teenager in the 90s, right? It was like all the Victoria's Secret models and fighting all of that stuff, right? Like, but so as I got older, as I got into my 20s, I was just on this constant um, chase of thinness and to be this like version of myself that was smaller that was my whole goal in everything I did in my nutrition, in my workouts, in all of it. And so I as I've gotten older, it's been a lot of work on the mental for sure. Um, but also like when I talked about or what I mentioned earlier about like getting to the root of like some of the stuff, like dealing with the stuff behind, like I had to face the idea of like, what does it mean if I am not the big girl anymore? Right. So, like, just facing that when it came to my decisions and what I was doing. And so, nutritionally, I came from a place of like significant restriction, significant, like well under 1,000 calories a day, every day. And I was doing sports. Like I was running, I was lifting, I was trying to do all these things. I would not eat bananas because somebody one time told me they had 7 grams of sugar, and which I remember to this day, right? And they were too high in carbs, and I should not eat them because bananas are bad for you. And looking back on that, I was like, that's insane. It's a fruit. Like, my goodness, like, how could we make those delicious cupcake muffins that we eat all the time without bananas, right?
Go nanas.
How can we not be Go Nana friends if we don't
I
have
never
bananas,
even
right?
connected that.
Yes. But it's like, so I mean, and I had gotten to the place where like I drink coffee in the morning. And everybody was like, oh, liquid calories, watch all that stuff, right? And so I was like, I liked cream in my coffee, and it started with, oh, first I'm going to put skim milk in. And then now I'm going to take the milk out. And then next thing you know, I was drinking black coffee, no sugar, no flavoring, no nothing, because I wasn't going to drink my calories. Did I like black coffee? No, I did not like black coffee. I wanted to put a little cream in it. And so when I was saying earlier about like, sometimes somebody's yes is a win for them. Me putting creamer in my coffee was a win for me.
Yeah.
Me eating a banana after I ran a 5K or a 10K or whatever, that was a win for me, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like, so I've gone to that place of like no longer restricting. On the flip side, it also comes with having to say no sometimes. So it also means that I don't just eat whatever I want whenever I want. And I think that's where people get confused, that
Yeah.
they think that the opposite of restriction is a free for all. And that doesn't mean it can be, but that's still not going to get you what you want. It's still not a healthy balance on that end of the spectrum either, right?
Yeah.
So it's finding that time of like, what's worth it to me? What like, for me, if I'm going on vacation, if I'm going to, holidays, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat the pie that my grandma made because I get it once or twice a year, right? Like, I'm not restricting myself from that. Like, and to me, it's not restriction, it's just choices. It's just choices. That's really what it comes down to. Like, what's it's a give and take, and it's what's important to me now. And like, people talk about like nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and like all those terrible, remember all those terrible, like,
I fucking hate that. Like,
they're
I
awful.
hate all of that.
They're meant to make you feel bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what that does, right? Like, I'll be honest, I've tasted plenty of things that are delicious, and I would rather, like, I've joked, I'm like, I'd rather be fat my whole life than never eat a delicious like cupcake, right? Or like my homemade sourdough. Like, I started making sourdough, and I think that was like an act of rebellion for me, of like, I didn't eat carbs. Like, I was all in, like, I'm not eating carbs anymore. And I did that, and I lost weight.
Oh, I know, that makes me. What time is it? Ad time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Ad time. So I wanted to share really quickly about a new venture that I just started. So I have been looking to replace my protein powder, my pre-workout, and my skincare. Just some things that I prioritize for my health. And I decided to partner with a new MLM company called Shaklee. And the reason that I did this is for a couple different reasons. So, first of all, I wanted to find products that were comparable to the ones that I was using before and ones that I felt proud to support. And I found these amazing products. So this first is the Shaklee Life Shake. This one is the plant protein vanilla. I love it. It's a quick shake and go for me. It's delicious, filling, 20 grams of protein, lots of fiber, all the good shit that you need to keep yourself going through the day. As a vegetarian slash pescatarian, I need to prioritize my protein. So having a shake per day helps me to fulfill that need, especially when I'm marathon training and active and all of that. So I love this. I love, first of all, that there's different options for bag sizes. This is the 14-day supply. So you don't need to invest in a whole month of shakes if you're not drinking them every day. I only drink maybe 5 days a week. So this is perfect for me. The other product that I've tried from Shaklee is their pre-workout. I was super skeptical of this one because I have been obsessed with my pre-workout for forever. But this one is really light, really clean, and a lot less staining. So it just feels really good. I love the taste. It's lemon, but it almost tastes like a light lemonade, and I'm really loving it so far. And the other product that I've tried is their youth cream. And this is just their day cream. This is the only one that I've tried so far. I am next on my list. I need to get the night cream and some sort of serum. But this one I'm loving so far. It goes a little bit goes a long way. Um, if you can see here, I've just been dabbing on the top to put on my face, and I think it gives me a good glow. But aside from loving these products, the reason that I really felt compelled to join another MLM is for women to have an option of earning an income. And I know for me, when I joined my previous MLM company, I didn't know what the future held. I fell in love with the products. I fell in love with how I was feeling. And then I started betting on myself. I started growing a business. I started gaining confidence. I started doing things that I never expected. And I know that I would not be the Melissa you see here today without that previous MLM experience. So a couple weeks ago, it hit me. I was like, I need an option to give to women, not only for clean products that they can rely on and they can depend on, but also the ability to grow an income and gain that confidence and build that belief in themselves. Because who knows what's down the line for you if you don't bet on yourself. So if you are looking to make an income for yourself, to gain some confidence, to try some new products and share them with your friends and gain a little income on the side, this is perfect for you. I'm going to put the link in my bio, or not in my bio, in the show notes, so you can check it out yourself. They have tons of different products for healthy living, for skincare, for even cleaning products. I haven't even dived into that yet, but this is for you to create the life that you desire, whether that's just consuming the products or whether that's sharing that with others and building an income for yourself. I am really all about women empowering themselves and being the best version of themselves, and also learning how to support themselves. So if this is for you, check out my link below and let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear what you think about these products, because the 3 that I've tried so far, I love. Now back to the program. Be so sad when people
Yes.
do that. I'm
Oh,
like,
like a life without sourdough bread? Like, get out. No, I can't live in that life. That's not for me anymore. And so, yeah,
no.
I physically bake sourdough in my house every single week. And sometimes I eat it, sometimes I don't. Like, it's not, once you take
But
that food
that's the
off the
power of the not
pedestal.
restriction, right? Like,
Yes.
because you're not restricting it, you
Yes.
have that choice.
Mhm. You have that choice, and it's like you've taken it off that pedestal. It's not a forbidden thing. Like, think about when you were a kid and everyone said to you, you remember when people were like, "Don't push the button." Like, all you want to do is push the button, right? Like, if somebody says to you, like, "Don't run," like everything in your power is like you want to run by the pool or whatever.
Yes.
When you were a kid, right? And so it's like it's the same thing as an adult. If somebody's telling you, "Don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat this," all you can think about is eating that thing, because now it's like, oh, I can't have it, right? Where when you take it off the pedestal and you're just like, okay, it's just maybe doesn't have the same nutritional value or as good of a nutritional value, or it's going to give me the same vitamins that this food is going to give. It doesn't mean I'm good or bad. It doesn't mean the food's
Yeah.
good or bad. It's just for different purposes, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the
And
day,
and I mean, when you make choices that line up for you, it's sort of like, when you figure out nutritionally what works for you, first of all, and
Mhm.
also you
Yes.
say yes to the things that are meaningful to you. Like, there are
Mhm.
certain things that I will hands down, I am going to eat and I'm going to enjoy, and I might
This is
even
it.
eat them in
Mhm.
excess because I enjoy
Right.
them so much.
And that, yeah.
But I also know, like, ultimately my goals have shifted from being superficial
Yep.
to to the inside. I want to
Yes.
go to my
Mhm.
doctor's appointment and see that my blood work is where it should be. Like that is my
Yes.
goal. That's what
Yep.
healthy means to me. It's not
Yes.
about passing on ice cream or whatever, because I
Mhm.
will
Yeah.
never do that.
Right.
But 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 it's such a journey to get there. And I
It
know,
really.
like how maddening is it to be around the conversations about food and and this kind of stuff, because I know it drives me nuts. And I try to
Right.
do what I can when I'm
Mhm.
around it to be like, no, I
Yep.
don't do this, or I don't want to talk
Yep.
about this, or
Mhm.
let's not talk about bodies,
Mhm.
or don't
Yes.
say you're fat. Like, I don't want to
Yes.
hear that, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, like, it's like I think about who I was when I was restricting, right? So I think about the person who would make cookies with her kids and then not eat the cookies because of the calories in them. Even when your kid was like, "Mommy, are you going to have a cookie?" I was the person who would not go out and grab beers with my running friends after a race because I just ran and I didn't want to ruin what I just did, right? Or like wouldn't like would say no to going out to dinner with people because I was afraid of like what's the food choice is going to be? What am I going to pick? Am I going to get the plain salad when I really wanted the pizza, right? That's not a joyful life. Like we
No.
only get a short time to be on this planet. And to me it's like I don't want to spend that time obsessing over the food that I put in my body, right? Like, yes, I want to make choices that are going to allow me the most time to be on this planet, but not to the point of stealing my joy and stealing those experiences with people I love, you know? And so it's like, yeah, when
Yeah.
I'm in those conversations or I hear those conversations, like, number one, we should not be talking about other people's bodies. Like, you don't know what that person is
No.
going through, you don't know what's up with them. Like, it doesn't like you just don't know their story. And even if you do know their story, it's still not your place to talk about somebody's body. I was my thinnest when I was my most unhealthy,
Yeah.
right? Like I and here now, like yeah, and even now, here's the crazy part about it, right? Like even with this conversation that we're having, I would love to still continue to lose fat off of my body, right? Like, because I know it makes me feel good. It helps me to move better. All of those things. I want to have a nice, healthy heart so I can live a long time and do all these things I want to do. But again, it's like, you don't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm totally like all in dieting and restrictive or I'm not, right? Like you can still love yourself and be happy with who you are and also still want to improve it at the same time. There
Yes.
like you can literally do all those things. Like it doesn't have to, and I think people get so stuck in that it's like you have to do this or you have to do that, right? And we've all
Yeah.
done those things for so long that they're afraid of who they are if they fall in this middle ground, right? Like
Yeah.
they're afraid of like, what do I do if I buy that package of Oreos and I leave it on my counter? I'm going to eat the whole thing. I promise you, if you do that, eventually you will stop eating the whole thing.
Yeah.
It will lose its luster, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
once you allow that food, it becomes something that's just like, I can take it or leave it. It's not a big deal. Right. And it's just like, but because you've never done that, because it's always been like, I can't have those in my house. I can't do this or whatever. It's like, uh, it becomes this thing where you just, like I said, it just loses its, like,
Yeah.
it's not that big a deal anymore. It's really not, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
but that takes work. That may take you plowing through a package of Oreos in a day or two, right? Because you like, and then you feel like crap and you recognize that and you see how it makes
Yes.
you feel and you realize like not that it makes me feel bad because I ate it, but because it physically makes me feel bad, right? Like my body feels bleh. And then go buy another package of Oreos and put them on your counter.
Yeah.
And you will stop grabbing the Oreos once you just are like, okay, I'm good. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
eat 7 Oreos in a sitting because it doesn't make me feel good, you
Well,
know?
and that I think is so important to learn about nutrition. And like not even just like food groups and that sort of thing, but also that most people aren't eating enough, right? They're not
Oh,
eating
for sure.
enough of what they need. And I think
Mhm.
that's a huge realization that I've had. But also, like when I was, I'll say even 12 years ago, I didn't know anything about what healthy eating
Mhm.
meant. I knew that like my plate was supposed to be balanced, but
Right.
I mean I talk about this all the time, but like my balanced plate would be a rare steak, Velveeta mac and cheese and some canned green beans. And that
Yeah.
was like a balanced meal.
Yeah.
And then, finish it up with some Friendly's ice cream with
Yeah.
as many sprinkles as I can. I
Right.
won't talk to you about sprinkles. And I mean, I don't know that I thought that that was healthy, but I do know that when I started to learn about like processed foods
Mhm.
and, how fresh vegetables are much more healthy than canned vegetables,
Mhm.
like these things that are really obvious to me now, but it took me time to learn, you feel so much better when you eat them. Like
Yeah.
not eating processed food feels so much better. So it's
Mhm.
like and then when you can sort of understand like okay like here's all of these processed food options, and I think of music bingo a lot because when we're out like that's the food
Right.
that's there, like, and it does like it I do feel it afterwards because when you're
Mhm.
eating 4 grilled cheeses in a week it
Right.
does play its part,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and I think that that's a connection too, is like I don't have to feel weighed down by my food options. I can have delicious meals that are fresh and filling and
Mhm.
satisfying, right? And healthier.
Yeah, and I think I do want to like say too though, like it's really important to recognize that like you mentioned like the canned green beans, right? So I will always be a believer that a like we do the best we can in the situation we're in
Yes.
too, right? So I just want to
Yes.
make sure to point that out that
Yes.
like
I still
yes,
love
if I
canned green
have the
beans.
means to make that choice, that's different than if I don't have the means to make that choice, right? And so I have been in those situations where I'm like, my kids are eating all the canned veggies, right? Because
I
fed is
love
always
canned
important
veggies.
and veggies are veggies, right? Like in that regard, if you have the opportunity to buy the fresh green beans, by all means, like, yes, that is fabulous and you should, right? But if you can't, for whatever reasons, there should be no, again, getting away from the feelings associated to food, like there is significant nutritional value still in those canned or frozen
Yeah.
vegetables as there are in fresh too. So just a
Yeah.
little side note I wanted to throw
Yeah.
out too
Yeah.
because
No, that's a good point. And I mean, I wish honestly that canned vegetables were not as delicious as they are. I just had a
right.
can of corn last night. It was so good.
Canned corn is like so good and that has like no nutritional
I
value,
know.
but it's so good.
Well, you know what I made? I made this is like a typical comfort food for me, but I made angel hair pasta
Yeah.
and canned corn. And
Corn.
Declan was like, "Is that like does that go together?" And I was like, "Well, for me it does because when I worked at a daycare when I was little, that was one of the meals, pasta and canned corn. So yes, it
Yep.
always goes together."
With mandarin oranges.
Yeah. Yes.
I worked in a daycare too. I was a daycare person before I got into insurance. So yeah.
Or applesauce. It was
Oh,
or
applesauce.
applesauce.
Or like things they would say, like I remember we would say like cheese toast, and it was really just like bread with cheese. So good, so delicious,
You know
zero
what?
nutritional value.
I
Like
think we're onto
no,
something because I think a lot of my nutrition knowledge did come from the daycare because I was like, I was a cook for so long there and I had to prepare these meals. That's just where it came from.
yeah, and like a bologna sandwich and some
Yes.
mandarin oranges and some canned green beans. That's
The
like a legit.
bologna. So good. Like so
That's
good.
yeah. Well, you could have been me. Like I grew up with two parents who are both chefs,
Oh,
so they
that's where you
food
get
has
it from.
yeah, that's always been my thing. Yeah. And so I have grown up around food. I've grown up food is everything. Food is joy. Food is sadness. Food is celebration. Food is
Family.
family, tradition, all those things. And so for me in my entire life, that's always been a thing. And like, I think people always say, like, oh, food is just fuel. No, food is not just fuel, firstly. Like, yes, it is fuel, but it can also be those other things. And
Yeah.
so it's like, you find that, again, you find that balance of it, right? It's like, no, I should not be turning to cake every time I'm sad, right? Because it's not going to make me less sad. But guess what? Sometimes eat the cake. Just eat the
Yeah.
cake, right? And it is
Yeah.
going to make you feel better in that moment. And as long as you don't, I think for me, it's like, if I make the choice, if I sit here and I'm just like, I've had a shit day and we're going to order pizza for dinner or whatever because I just feel like pizza. If I make that choice and then after making that choice can say like, I'm good with that choice, right? Like it didn't like, then it's okay to do, right? Like I think it's where you find that balance of like, sometimes it's okay to, like, people are always like, don't emotional eat. And I'm like, well, don't like binge emotional eat. Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
again, sometimes if you're, I mean, think about it. It's somebody's birthday. What do you guys do? You make a cake,
Yeah.
right? Like, you celebrate. Like, that's all part of the gig. Like, and it's okay. I think those are like so many of the things that once we get away from fighting all these beliefs that we've had our whole life, right? Like, this is good or bad, and you should do this, and you shouldn't do that. And women especially are so confused by all of it, right? Because you're just like, well, I'm not supposed to celebrate with a cupcake or whatever, but like, I want to because it's joyful and it feels good and whatever, right? Like, that's okay sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's okay sometimes. And I think that's the thing. It's the sometimes, right? It's being discerning about the sometimes, you know?
How do you handle this stuff as a parent?
So that's huge for me, as you know.
Yeah.
I have a 13-year-old daughter and I have a 7-year-old daughter, well, almost 7.
That's
And
crazy, by the way.
how do I have a teenager
I
now, too?
don't know.
Oh, and this is a huge, huge deal for me. And one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to deal with my own insecurities about my body and figuring out nutrition was because of that specific reason, right? I had daughters and I wanted them to not have to go through all the things I did in my 20s and early 30s to get to where I am today. And so for me, I mean, my oldest daughter, she literally packs her lunch each day and packs it with the mindset of she's an athlete and she needs to have fuel to fuel that, right? Her long practices or whatever she's got going on. And she will look at things with the idea of like, okay, I need carbohydrates, I need proteins, I need fats, and I need a treat. Right? Like that's kind of how she looks at it, right? And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna
I
have
love that.
this sandwich or whatever. I've got some fruit, I've got yogurt. And then you know what? I'm gonna pack 2 Oreos or I'm gonna pack, I don't know, a package of fruit snacks or whatever it is, right? Like, so we've worked really hard to recognize that like no foods are off the table, right? Like, and I started that when they were very, very young. We always had a snack drawer. And I know so many people are like, my kids are gonna eat all the, don't get me wrong, like the money we spend on snacks is like right? Insane, right? Um, but like it's again, it's not a free for all, but it is, I didn't want those foods to be off limits to them because again, it puts them on that pedestal and then it's like then they're like trying to eat as much of it as they could when they were allowed to have it, right? And then they which then sometimes leads to sneaking foods and hiding foods, right? Very unhealthy behaviors with foods. And so for me, from the time they were toddlers, we had a snack drawer and it had different options in there, right? Like different, I would say an array of nutritional valued snacks, if you will. And I would let them choose something. And even now, like with my younger one, like she comes home from school, she wants a snack. She may have something that's a little more like less nutritional value with something right next to it that has more value to it nutritionally. And so it was kind of guiding them of like, okay, well, if you're going to have, I don't know, chips right now, what do we think would be a different, an option with some more healthy stuff for your body to have later, right? Like just kind of having those conversations of like, again, that trade off. It's not
Yeah.
all or nothing. It's not you can never have it. And that's honestly, that's fared very, very well for us. Don't get me wrong, my 6-year-old still would eat, chicken nuggets and pasta every single night. Um, and I still continue like to have her try new things, because she just is a little pickier than the older one was. But it's again just taking it off the pedestal, recognizing that like no foods are off limits. Like we can just enjoy things as they are, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've never with them, I never want them to hate their bodies. I never want them to go through, like I said, the things I went through when it came
Yeah.
to eating and restrictions and all of that stuff. And I think as with my teenager, it's like she's almost 6 feet tall as too. She just turned 13 and she's almost 6 feet tall and she's a solid human as well. And like fostering that mindset of like positivity about that. And then pairing that with like, hey, you have these goals, you have these things you want to do when it comes to fueling your brain and fueling your body, right?
Yeah.
For all these
That brain.
activities.
Thank you for saying that because that helps our brain too, right? How we're eating. If we're eating a bowl of Lucky Charms in the morning versus
Yeah.
a healthier breakfast,
Mhm.
and my kids that we get free lunch and breakfast now,
Oh,
and
yeah.
even I keep asking them if they ever want to bring something. So I know they're just getting sugar, right? But
Yeah.
but it does impact your brain.
It does. Yes. It totally does. Like, I'm a big like believer in the idea of like eat what you want and add what you need. So, like, if you want to have like, okay, cool, you want to have some mozzarella sticks, like have some mozzarella sticks and pair it with a side salad,
Yeah,
right?
I
Or
like
like
that. Eat what you want, add what
add
you
what you
need.
need. Yep. So
Eat
like
what you
you like
want.
your idea of like the Lucky Charms, right? Like have a little bowl of Lucky Charms, but also pair it with a couple of scrambled eggs. Or you know what I mean? Or a side of fruit with some scrambled eggs or something, right? Like if you like never eat the Lucky Charms, you're still gonna want the Lucky Charms, right? It doesn't suddenly go away because,
Yeah.
you know, but if you have maybe a smaller portion of Lucky Charms and add the other things to it, now when we talk about the balance, right? Getting back
Yeah.
to the start of the combo, like there now you have a balance. You have like I was just talking about the trifecta of beverages, right?
Yeah.
Something for hydration, something for fun. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's that same idea of just like the balance of it, right? Like I need to have the water. We would argue sometimes I need to have the Diet Coke too, but like
Yeah.
it's that balance, right? Of the thing I want with the thing my body needs to.
Betty. Fucking Betty. I
It's okay.
think the I think that the one thing that really bothers me in terms of parenting is the Betty. Betty. Sorry. She's so annoying. She's like the biggest guard dog, but she doesn't do anything.
That's
I'm
mine too.
sorry.
She like barks at the wind. I'm like,
I
move.
know. Like the neighborhood watchdog.
Yes.
Um is the comments on bodies and particularly about people being thin or skinny or
Mhm.
losing weight and that kind of stuff. And I
Mhm.
think when I hear it, like what can we do about it? Like yeah,
Like what?
I
How do
know
you?
there's
Yeah.
I know there's nothing we can do, right? And we can
Mhm.
have conversations and I try
Yeah.
to talk to the kids a lot about, about that. We don't talk
Mhm.
about people's bodies. We don't know if someone who is bigger may be healthier than someone who is smaller, but there's this
Mhm.
cultural obsession with being smaller and thin. And
Mhm.
and I know that for me right now, I am I'm gaining, luckily, but going through my separation, I did lose weight.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was floored at how many
Mhm.
people not only knew I was going through a separation, but also continued to talk about my body. And it
Yeah.
was literally because I was in my most stressful time of my life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I mean, you see it all the time. There was one incident that I had a couple months ago that someone was commenting on someone's body and they said, "I'm so stressed." It was another stress sort of
Oh
situation.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And they commented at Music Bingo. It was at Music
Yeah.
Bingo. I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
They said to the owner, "You're so skinny." And
Yeah.
she was like, "I am extremely stressed." And
Yeah.
like, and then the response wasn't even like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry that you're going through that."
Yeah.
It was just like,
It was
"Well,
like, well, good you
you
have the
look
stress because
good."
now you get to be skinny.
Yeah. Like what? Like what?
Yes.
I
I know.
would rather, and I mean, my weight has
Mhm.
fluctuated a lot during the years, and
Yes.
particularly, like, and I'm a-okay with that because
Yes.
it suits whatever I'm sort of going
Yes.
through at that
Seasons of
time.
life. Yeah.
Yes. But like, why the obsession? Why does skinny equal good? Like
I don't know.
why we have to break that? I guess we
Mhm.
do these conversations and we talk about
Yes.
it.
And
And
that's what it is, right? Like, here's the thing. I think that we need to understand that number one, like, um, if somebody says like one of the things, like if somebody says like, oh, I'm fat, and people are like, oh, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Yeah, I can be fat and beautiful at the same time. Number one, period. Hard stop, end of sentence, right? Like, and at the end of the day, like you said, you don't know somebody's story. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they eat every day. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about that stuff, right? Like you're not their and even doctors. I've had to have conversations with my doctor. My doctor, I literally one time I went into her office and she was talking about my weight and she was like, "Have you considered weight loss surgery?" And I was like, yeah, not for me. Right? Like, no shade to anybody who chooses that tool for themselves. I absolutely support if that is the
I
tool
can't
that is
believe
right.
they asked
But
you that.
she asked me if I had considered weight loss surgery, and I said, no, that's not for me. And then she was like, well, what about, different drugs and stuff? And I was like, also not for me. Right? Again, no shade to anybody who chooses that tool. If it's the right one for you, then you should absolutely do that. For me, it was not the right choices. And I ended up breaking down and I was like, I need you to understand who I am as a person and talk about such an eye-opening experience, I think, for her. And she actually had a student with her too. So yay for that, because
Good.
changed the future, right? But if I had not had that conversation with her of like, this is what my life looks like. I have run races in every town in our state. I've done the New York City half marathon 5 times. Like I lift heavy as shit, right? Like I do all the things. I get in my steps. I do all the things, right? And so when I really broke that down for her, she was like, I was wrong. She was like, I'm sorry. And she was
Wow.
just like, we need to, she goes, what a positive. She literally said to me, she goes, I'm so like happy that you spoke up to me, because she's like, you're a perfect example of somebody that the scale doesn't tell the whole story. And
Yes.
we need to do a better job of that. And she would like said to the student, she was like, I hope you were paying attention because this is so important for you to learn, right? She said, the scale can tell you possible indicators of other health problems that could happen, right? Like it's not that, like if like it should just be scrapped altogether, right? Like I'm not saying it's not an important data point and a whole slew of data points, but it's not the whole story. And so it's like I think, how do we change that narrative? We speak up about it. We call
Yeah.
people out, right? Call people out on that. And like I said, I think it's really, you got to be careful with like not making those correlations, right? Not making those correlations of attractive versus unattractive or good or bad or whatever, right? Um, and like you said, not talking about people's bodies. Like my body is the least interesting part and thing about me. Like there's
Yes.
so much more that is so much
Yes.
more important. And so
Yeah.
it starts when you're young, right? Like we think about how we talk to children. Think about how people talk to little girls, right? They talk about like, oh, you're so pretty, like, oh, you're so that, right? Like we talk about all those physical attributes of children. and then wonder why when we grow up to be adults that we are focused on our physical attributes, right?
Oh
So
my God. Oh, just this weekend at 90s Con, Ian Ziering said to Madikit, "You're so pretty." And it was so funny
yeah,
because in the moment I was so mesmerized by him. And as
yeah,
we were
yeah,
walking out, I
yeah.
was like, "You should have told him I'm pretty smart." She
Yes.
was like, she rolled her eyes. But I was
Like, yeah, thanks. And again, it's like it's not like it's wrong to say that somebody is pretty, right? Like I don't
yeah,
want to say like we should never be like,
no,
oh my
but
god, you look so pretty, right? Like, I mean, we've like exchanged how fabulously gorgeous we are on the regular,
yes,
but like, but like, there's so much more about me. Like, oh,
yeah,
you're such a hard worker. You're so smart. You're so creative, right? Like, there's so many more important things we could be
yeah,
talking about people. And so, being aware of those things, like, if you want to compliment somebody, if you see the woman, like, I don't know, at like I can remember when I worked in an office building, right? And you would pass the same people every day and whatever, and you would see you would notice changes in people and whatever. If I want to compliment somebody, let's compliment them on like the project they did this week, or
yeah.
even like their new cute shoes, right? You want to comment about
Their
something, right? Like
hair, yeah,
your
something,
hair, like something
yeah,
that's like again, like something that's like not I don't know. Like I just think that that's where we started like amongst our friend groups. We started amongst our with our children and really just especially in those friend groups like we know that that language is so prevalent and we know people women get together and like bash on their bodies and oh I need to be good and oh I'm going to start Monday and I'm being so bad eating this charcuterie board like
Mrs.
whatever
Thompson does it at Music Bingo.
and
She's
she's what
82,
75, 80.
82, and I'm like, Mrs. Thompson, we're eating the fucking lava cake tonight.
Yes,
Shut up.
yes, yes, yes. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, so it's like that was one of my things, right? Like when I am on my deathbed, right? The last thing I'm gonna be thinking about is whether or not I fit into those pair of jeans, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be thinking about all of the experiences I've had, all of the things I've done with people, all of the places I've visited, right? Like I have a friend right now who's traveling, who's in Spain right now, or one of our friends is in Ireland, I think, right now, right? Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine going to Ireland or going to Spain and being like, you know what? I'm not gonna have the Guinness because I'm on a diet. You're in friggin' Ireland, like drink the damn Guinness, right? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, do you have to drink it to have a great experience in Ireland? No, you don't. But if you want to, as part of your
Yeah.
experience, like that shouldn't hold you back. And then forever in your life, you're gonna be like, I'm the person who went to Ireland, didn't drink Guinness. Like, what the hell is that? Right?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
That
right.
is
Like
bullshit.
I just don't want, like I said, for me, for my kids, for my friends, like it's changing that conversation and it just comes through pointing those things out to people, right? Like, and I mean, I think for you, like just in the mere fact that you are a therapist, right? I think like you kind of I don't know, like you maybe have an opportunity, right? Like sometimes you hear people like bashing their bodies and stuff, like not getting therapy ish, right? Like just being like again, switching that, like
Yeah.
and saying different things or just bringing it up. Like even I've said to people, like, it makes me sad to hear you talk about your body like that.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
I've said that. And here's the craziest part about it that I just want to throw out there is no matter how much work you do, no matter how good you feel in your body day to day, there will still be moments where that nasty bitch in your head comes back and tries to derail you and makes you feel bad about your body or makes you question what you're doing because I literally just went through that. I ran New York City. I saw my finish line photos and my first thought was about what my body looked like.
It's always the fucking photos, right?
It
It's
is, and I know
always,
they're trash. I know the photos are trash. I know I just freaking finished 13 miles through the
yeah.
greatest city ever, right? Like, and yet my thought was what my body looked like in that picture.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute, right? It took me a minute to process that. And when I came back to it wasn't about my body. It was about the fact that it like there was other parts of the race that I was like unhappy with or whatever. It wasn't about my body, but for me, that was like my trusty friend that I could always fall back on. And when I'm feeling
Yeah.
bad, what can I get on myself about? my body.
Yeah.
What can I convince myself? Oh, I feel out of control. What can I control? Oh, I can you should restrict your food because you know how to do that and then you'll feel in control again, right? So for me it's
Yeah.
like, but I had to get to the root of all of that shit so that when that little mean girl popped up post race,
Yeah.
I had to say like, nope, stop it. No, that's not what we're doing, and shoot her down, right? Like and cut that off
Yeah.
because it does
Honestly,
still
what
pop
what
up.
I like to do is when I have a picture that I hate,
Yep.
I post it. I really
Because
do.
everybody comments. Yeah.
Not even like just for
It
myself, like,
feels
and
like,
I'm thinking
yes.
particularly of that fairy photo shoot that I did.
Oh
I
yes.
loved the pictures, but like
They're so
there
good.
in some of the like because my boobs sort of like go flat,
Yeah.
they both weren't in the spot of the outfit. Literally, no
Yeah.
one else would notice except for
No.
me.
No.
What time is it? Ad time. It's a celebration. And it is. Did you know that alcohol abuse disorders are rampant among adults? And 1 in 8 American adults qualify to have an alcohol abuse disorder. Alcohol makes depression worse, makes anxiety worse, and basically everyone is better off when you drink less. How do you drink less? Well, some people reduce the amount of drinks that they drink per week. Others replace with THC. I love to call these my drug drinks. These have 5 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBD. They give you a little great buzz around the campfire or hanging out with your friends without having a hangover from alcohol, without having the dehydration from alcohol. Right on the can, they'll tell you the vibes that you get. This one is buzzy, uplifting, and social. What I love about this company is they have great customer service and they also have different levels of THC and CBD in each drink. So this one's a higher one because I have a little bit of a higher tolerance, but you can get ones that are smaller. They have gummies, they have special nighttime ones to help you sleep, tons of different products, and they're all really good quality. And I have been drinking them. I get them delivered right to my door every month so that I can reduce my alcohol consumption and also enjoy a nice little drug drink. So if you are looking to, and I have different kinds, blackberry mango, this is pineapple orange, raspberry lemon. I love to take these on my paddleboard or kayak when I go out into the woods and am one with nature. If you want to try them, I'm going to put my link in the show notes. Feel free to check out the link, check out the store, and let me know what your favorite is. I love, love, love these products, and anything that reduces alcohol in our country and culture is a win in my book. So tell me what you think, and I hope you enjoy.
That's just
But I like ripped it apart and I was like, you know
Mhm.
what? I have to post this photo. I didn't
Mhm.
mention the fact that I hated it so much,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I posted it because it helps me to sort of normalize that no one fucking knows. It's only in
Mhm.
my head. And
Yeah.
even if someone did notice, fuck them. Like,
Because right at the end of the day, it doesn't negate like any of it, right? And
no.
it's like I think for me, one of the biggest things I've had to realize, like when we talk about running and race photos and stuff, right? I have finish line photos of myself finishing a race ahead of somebody way smaller than me. Like I've ran it faster, right? I have pictures of people who are much smaller than me that look terrible. Right? Like they
Yes.
don't look great either, right? And I've had
Yes.
pictures of me where I look great and where they look great and all those different things, right? So like when I really started to analyze like the facts of it, right? Like the truth of it was the issue was not my body or their body or any of it. It was literally just the perception of what it was in that moment and recognizing that like bodies in motion most of the time don't look great.
That's why whenever we see the photographer, we're like, pose, pose.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is why there's no cameras allowed when we ran naked. Like, not attractive, not attractive. Does not look good. when all the things are going in all the places. Like,
Oh
no.
my God. I feel like we didn't talk about any of that stuff. We're gonna have to have another podcast episode. You're
I
gonna
know.
have to come back again. What are
Oh
you
my
doing?
God.
So you just did the New York City half. What are you
Yeah.
doing next?
So I decided to kind of switch gears a little bit. So I am scaling it all the way back,
Yeah.
like way back, to literally, so to tell you real quick, so part of what my like post race feelings were, which came out of nowhere. So ready to put your little therapy hat on.
I will.
So all of my training, I trained so joyfully. I trained
You
so
did.
positively. I was consistent. I felt so good right through all of it. Race day came and I was like, hell yeah. New York City, favorite race ever. Like I said, I've done it 5
So
times. I
good.
love it. I
Yeah.
ran for charity this year. Loved it. Ran the race again. Joy. So much joy the whole time, even on the stupid FDR that lasted 17 years. I was like, get
It
me
was
off this damn
long.
plane. Yeah, it's a stupid road. I felt great. Finish line, great. Dinner that night, great. 2 days later, hated everything. I'm a
Oh.
sucky runner. I'm so slow. I'm not good enough. Why do I even do this? I'm so fat in my finish line. But all the things, all the negative things that could have been thrust upon me came crashing down. And it hit me out of nowhere because I didn't feel like all through my training I was good, all through the race I was good. So where the hell did this come from, right?
Yeah.
And so I recognized that part of my issue was that I was feeling like I missed out. I have a different race experience than you have, right? Just
Yeah.
based upon merely your pace, right? And so, not that New York City wasn't phenomenal. I had all the, all the aid stations were open and all that stuff. And yeah, there's things I'm sure I experienced that maybe you don't because of your
Yeah.
pace, right? But I would love to have the experience that you had. And seeing all my friends who did the race, seeing their experiences and stuff, I was like, I want that. And that was making me feel some sort of way. And so I got to a place after much reflection
Yeah.
of I can still celebrate what I did this year. I can be so proud of what I did this year. And I can also work to having a different experience next year. And so
Yes.
that literally starts today, right? Like that starts now. That doesn't start 6 months from now. If I want to get to that place, I've got to put in the work starting now. And so talk to my like I work with a run coach, which coaches need coaches, by the
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely.
Not that I can't coach somebody. I can coach somebody else, but to coach myself, I'm like, nope, have somebody
Yeah.
tell me what to do. One less decision I have to make. I talked to her and we're going to scale it. We're scaling it super far back, like literally half mile, mile and a half, 2 miles, right? Building up from nothing
I
to
love that.
running the strongest, fastest I can do in those smaller incremental distances to get to a place where I can run a kick-ass 5K, then I can run a kick-ass 10K and kind of just build up. So then when New York City 2026 runs around, like I get to have maybe, and who knows, I might do it. I might run that experience and be like, oh, I miss being in the back. I don't know.
So,
I don't
I
know
mean,
how I'll feel.
what I love about you is that you took those feelings and really dived deep into them,
Mhm.
right? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would be just deflated.
Yeah.
They might give
Yeah.
up running, right? They might.
Yes. Mhm.
So I love
Like,
that about you. And that's
thank
something that
you.
you've trained yourself to do, right? With
Mhm.
everything,
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
sort of knocks you
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. And that's really what it was. Like, even in that moment, recognizing for myself, like I said, like initially my head went to like, oh my God, you're so fat. That's why you were so slow. And I was like, that's dumb. Shut up. Like, I had to like knock that down. It took me a minute, right? But it still comes back. Like, it's still like,
Yeah.
she like shows up once in a while. But then even like with my running coach, she was like, hey, do you want to talk? And I was like, I can't talk about this right now. Give me a week. Let me process. Let me think. Let me sit with it a little bit. And then when I talked to her, it was like the following week. I talked to her and I was like, this is what I want to do. And she was like, that sounds amazing. And I love that for you, So
Yeah.
it
Because
was
then
just
you
like,
went right from that to like, what can if I do want
Yes.
this experience, what can I do to get that experience? What can I
Yes.
do
It's
to
not just going to
improve the
happen.
running? Yeah. And it's not about me, no matter how mean I am to myself about it, it doesn't change
It's not going
next
to
year
happen.
or even this year.
Yes.
It has
Yes.
to be action in that direction.
Yeah, and it's like, again, I want to bring what I learned from this race, like the joy I felt in training, the reason I
Yeah.
felt the joy, the things I brought through this whole training cycle. I want to continue to carry that part of it forward. And like I said, like just recognizing that like I can have a different experience if I want to. And but I've got to put the work in. And so that means making the choices, right? So that means I'm not
Yeah.
going to have maybe the pizza and the wine on a Friday night because Saturday I want to go out and do my run and feel good about my run, right? Because that's my long-term goal, you know? So
Yes.
it's like it all kind
Yes.
of like comes together in that way of just like when we talk about like your mindset, right? I easily could have gone down the like I'll be honest, like there's been times in my past where I've had those thoughts about like my weight and I've gone so far as had like almost scheduling the surgery. Like have done all the pre-work
Yeah.
for surgery, had done everything and then was like, "No, this is not for me." Like I was just in that, right? Like I was like,
Yeah.
"No," you know? But like so for me to know that that's like that's my MO, right? Like when I'm feeling some sort of way, that's the thing I kind of fall back on and be able to stop that and instead sit with it, process it, what does it really mean and then take those action steps. Like that's how you grow, right? Like that's how you
Yeah.
become the person you
Well,
want to be.
you're coaching yourself.
Yeah.
You're self-coaching. And
Yes.
that's what the goal is, right? Like
Yes. Hmm.
you want to, be able to have enough insight and awareness so that you can move through whatever it is you're experiencing. And not
Yes.
on your own necessarily. You
No.
had to do the work to figure out what your feelings were from that race and then set the goal for yourself
Yep.
with the help of a run coach, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
but
And a
but
therapist.
it is that work that you do alone.
Yes, and that's where like that's the important part of it, right? It's like there are so many tools out there to help people whatever way they want to go, right? There are so many tools that can be so helpful for you and whether that be a run coach or some sort of community that you join or through therapy or whatever it is that you
Yeah.
find that helps support you to get you to these goals, like we all need them. We all use them and yeah, you could do it without all of that. But if you can make your journey a little easier, a little more direct, like
That was a post actually that I wrote a couple years ago that came up in my time hop today. A coach shortens the time to your goal, right? Like
yes.
it helps
Mhm.
you. It's like finding some
Yes.
obscure item in the grocery store. You can ask someone or you
Yes.
can drive yourself crazy looking
Right.
for it yourself.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
how can I get there?
Yeah. And that's where we talk about like you were saying about how like, what somebody's like their downfalls of getting to their goals or whatever, right? Like for me, now I've laid out what my goal is to my coach. Now she's going to tell me what to do. I know
Yes.
how to do that. I could sit down and I could plan that all out for myself and I could put it in this app and I could track it and do all this shit. Or I could pay her $100 or whatever a month it is or whatever, right? I realize that's a privilege I can do, but like I could pay her to do that for me. And now I don't have to think about it. I can
Yes.
now have this goal, work towards this goal. I can put my energy and my passion towards helping people who want support, right? Like with their nutrition, with their fitness, do my job, support my kids, do all the things I want to do, and still reach my own personal goals too. But it comes
Yeah.
from getting help from other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
love
I'm
that.
excited. I'm excited about it.
That's
So
awesome. I really think that that's amazing, and I'm sorry
yeah,
that you
so
struggled
we're
afterwards
gonna
because
work
you
really, really hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I didn't. I would say it's so funny because I've been wanting to share that because I think it's such a powerful thing to share with people, right? Because they
Yeah.
did see the positivity and the joy through all of my training, and even when I finished, I
Yeah.
was super proud of myself. I really, really was. Like that was genuine, right? Like that's not a
Yeah.
lie. I still am very proud of myself. I actually made New York City replace my medal because they gave me a medal that was all jacked up, and I was like, I need
No
a new medal.
way. Good for you.
Like, because I'm proud of myself and I want to have that to
Yes.
remember what I did, right? But at the same time, it's like I said before, right? Like it's not all or nothing. It's not this camp or that camp. Like you can be joyful and feel good and still want a different outcome next time. Like that's
Yes.
okay. And I just like I've been really sitting with how I share that message because I think it's an important one to have, even
I love it.
in the race
And
world. And we
I
know
mean,
there's a lot of
it's sort of like when you it's easier to share when you've gone through it. So I'm sure
yes.
now that you're sort of like through all the feelings, it
Mhm.
may have felt weirder, back
Yes.
when everyone saw the joy and you're like, I'm not joyful anymore, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, where I was just like, this sucks and everything sucks and I hate running, right? And
Well,
I was just like, I had those thoughts. I'm like, I'm gonna quit running. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I finished 169. I don't need to do this anymore. Like, what am I doing? If it doesn't bring you joy, why are you doing it? And then I was like, no, like it did bring you joy and you did
yeah.
enjoy it. And yes, it was hard, but you loved it and you thrive. I thrive off of accomplishing this shit that's hard. Like
Yes.
that's like at the core of who I am as a person,
You
right? So
fucking
like
owned that street. When I could not believe I turned down that road and I was like, "Oh
that
my
was
god."
amazing.
And
That was the highlight.
my friend who I stayed with in New York, her this is just a side note, but during the race her goal shifted. She
Mhm.
wanted a PR. I
Yeah.
think she was on pace for a PR, and then a unfortunate thing for this other person happened, but a magical moment in terms of running. Her this girl was struggling and she literally had to like carry her to the
Ooh.
finish line. Like her and
Oh,
another runner. It was like one of those like moments that you
like
see
you
on like
see on
Runner's
yeah,
World.
yeah.
And so she was like, fuck it. I didn't get my goal, but like I helped this girl
But
cross the
look at
finish
the other thing
line.
you did. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like when I look and then for me the other part of it was like I said I ran for charity this year. The charity that I ran for this year was in support of a friend and a coworker of mine who was diagnosed with multiple myeloma and she's like our age, she has kids and this came out of nowhere for her, and she had been like most recently before she was diagnosed she had started going to the gym and she was feeling really good. She was like, look at me deadlifting, and I was so stoked for her, and then she gets this diagnosis, right? And it was obviously it's like devastating. Like none of us think it's good, it's not going to happen to me, right? She did nothing wrong. There's no reason that she should have had that, right? Like out of nowhere, just life. And so for me it was like every single part of that race was keeping that in mind, that like
Yeah.
I get to do this and what she wouldn't give right now to be walking without a walker and
Mm,
running and getting
deadlifting.
to do this and deadlifting again, right? And going to
Yeah.
the gym and all those things. And it's like, I don't say that with some sort of like toxic positivity of like, it's
No.
all sunshine and rainbows every single day and you should do whatever, do it because you can. Like, yeah, that's a part of it. But like, when I really reflected back on all of it, I was like, no, you did find joy in what you were doing, right? And it wasn't just about me. So like with your friend, right? Like it became about like it was
Something
about
else.
her to
Yeah.
start and then it kind of switched gears and like she'll always look back on that race and won't be like, oh, I didn't get my PR. She's gonna be like, I helped that girl finish when it was like the whole
Yes.
thing, right? Like
Yeah.
she will look back at it. And then for me, I'm not gonna look back on this and be just like, oh my God, that's the slowest New York City you've run. I'll end up, like I'll look back on it someday and just be like, you ran this in honor of your friend who needed your support. And like you brought
Yes.
that to her through your actions, right? And
Yeah,
like,
nobody gives a shit how fast you run a
no,
race, right?
no,
Like I
no.
mean, of course there's the people that don't understand and they're like, "How'd you do?" or like, "What
Did
was
you
your
win?
time?" And I'm always like, "I had fun."
Yes.
Yeah. Did you
I'm like,
fucking win?
I
I
said
got.
everybody asked me how was your race. I was like, I finished up right. So that was all I
Yeah.
cared about. I
Yeah.
finished up right. Yep. And that's what I mean. It's like,
I always say now I PR'd in fun. I PR'd in
yes.
fun. Like that's what I did, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like with my goal, my new goal for New York City, like yeah, I'm going to have to be faster to have that goal, right? So, I'm sure there's going to be like me checking boxes all over the place of getting faster. Like I look forward to that, of course, but it's also not the whole story. It's not the whole thing, right? Like it it's a part of that journey, but it's not the end all be all of everything, right? And
Yeah.
so even for me, it's like I already have it in my head, like, because when I was talking about it with somebody, they were like, "Well, what's your goal? Like, what is your like, what do you want your time to be?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just want a different experience." So it was about the experience, not
Yes.
about the time. Like, because nobody like that's what you remember 10 years
Yeah.
from now. Or am I going to be like, I ran that half in 2:27 and 20 seconds? Like, no, I'm not going to remember that. I will remember that I had a kick-ass race and the streets were full and people were cheering, right? Like, that's what I'll remember. So
Yes.
that's what I'm chasing. I'm not chasing the time. I'm chasing that experience, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
love that distinction, and I honestly, I'm impressed with the work that you did to get there because I don't know that I would have gotten there. I mean, myself, but
it took a minute and some tears and
yeah,
probably that piece of cake that I should not have emotionally ate, but I ate anyway because I wanted to in the moment.
I
But
hope it was delicious.
it was. But it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's like processing it, sitting with it, talking about it, um, journaling about it. I talked to my therapist about it, like, because I was like, and she was just like, she said to me, she said, "Where is the proof that your finish line photos are like that you're fat and disgusting or whatever words I used?" And she was like, "Where's the proof of that?" And I was like, "It's not really any proof. Like it's just what I think, you
Yeah.
know?" And then she's like, "Well, what did you get? What's the opposite of that?" And I was like, "I ran 13 miles." And she was like, "Mm-hmm." And that's a
Mhm.
tangible fact. Like that really happened, you know? And so it was just again like flipping that script of like again, not that toxic, like, oh, you know, because I hate that sometimes where everyone's like, it's all just sunshine and you can just change everything and just have a positive mindset. Like, no, you can feel like shit and be sad sometimes. That's okay, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
say, okay, I felt like shit. I feel
Now what?
sad. Why do I feel sad? Why do I feel the way I do? What does that look like moving forward? And do you build and you grow, right? Like, and I couldn't have done that 10 years ago. 10
Yeah.
years ago, I probably would have quit running, at least for a time period, and then would have been like, "Oh, you're still fat. You should probably try to run again to lose weight." Like that would have been the cycle that I would have gone through, you know?
And I mean,
Where I realized,
also,
oh, whatever.
I have to mention how important it is to also be surrounding yourself with people who are building you up. And you have a
Correct.
really amazing community that you've built for yourself, your family,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
friends, and all of that, who
Yeah.
are also not pouring into a negative narrative. And it's
Mhm.
important what the what you're hearing around you too.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know the
Well,
words I just used, but
yeah. No, it's like you got to surround yourself with what you want in your life, right? So it's like my one of my greatest joys was during the Olympics when Alona Mayer would like say something and people would be like, "This is you, this is you, like she sounds just like you," and people were
yes.
like comparing me to this phenomenal, kick-ass, super strong athlete, and they were saying like, "She's basically your twin," like all that kind of stuff, and like the fact that I've surrounded myself with people who a look at me in that light and like get that kind of that vibe from me, but also find it important enough to share that with me and like share those things with me.
Yeah.
It's like that fuels me just in who I am and the support that I need, but then in turn it like makes me want to pour that back into people, right? So
Yeah.
it's like kind of this like give and take of
Well,
all of
you're
it. So
very consistent with your messaging, right? It's like I
that's
show up and I
true.
get shit done and
Yes.
I accept myself as I am
Mhm.
and I move forward and
Yes.
that's the narrative that is played.
Mhm.
So it definitely makes sense and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I love what
it's
you put out
genuine.
there.
Yeah, like I'm like when I say like I think the thing about us that is so true is that like or like what we're the most similar in is like we show up genuinely who we are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you the good. On the flip side, I'm going to show you the bad too.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been so anxious. Like, I want to get that message out about how I felt after my race. I just want to figure out like what that looks like. But because it's important to me, right? That it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. And other times, like, yeah, it's stupid dancing around my kitchen drinking power greens, right? But
Yeah.
like sometimes like it's not, right? And I think that's what it is. Like at the end of the day, like I am who I am. I don't always love it, right? Like I don't look in the mirror every day and love exactly every single thing, but at the same time, like I don't hate it either. And that's
Yeah.
okay, right? Like that's normal. Like to find that balance of like all of it and just genuinely be who you are. That resonates with people, right? So like
Yeah.
I don't need to be some influencer who's like, let me wear these scrunchy butt pants to pretend my butt looks better or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I have them and they're fabulous. But
I
like
do too.
I love them. They're so good. But they're not practical for running at all, by the way. Like, do not run in
Yeah.
them. But no, it's just like I don't need to pretend to be somebody else because like I'm genuinely happy with who I am as a person. And it's aided me well thus far. So keep doing it, you know?
You're doing awesome. Oh, I love you. I love this
You.
conversation.
I love talking to you. I could do this forever.
We could do this all fucking day.
Yeah, like any other time you want to chat with me, you let me know because I love chatting with you, and I love chatting about this stuff because it's so flippin' important. And
No, I do, and I
people need
love
to
because
hear this.
we are always talking shit to each other, like in a loving way on social media about diet shit and nutrition
Yes.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I've shared with you, my parents' asinine views that, what? Like my dad who's 76, like
On a cruise, right?
still does Atkins. Like I'm like, what and then he's like passing out in the summer on the golf course. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
Like what
Well,
is happening?
like as you like slather a hamburger in bacon and mayonnaise, like good job. Good job. Like that's gotta be good for your heart. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
I know.
yeah. But
I
I
just,
appreciate you. Thank you
yeah.
so much for
Oh my
your
God.
time.
Yes, anytime. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to
Well,
share some
you're gonna
stuff
have to come
and
back and share how your training is going and
oh
how
my God,
all of
yeah.
that. Because it's gonna be really weird for you to like be like going out for a half a mile versus
Dude, literally,
8.
my coach was like, I'm going to have you start out with like a 15-minute run. I was like, a what? Like, do I have to warm up for that? Like, what do you do? Like, you just want me to run for 15 minutes? Like, it doesn't sound very, but I'm going to, you know what? I pay her to tell me what to do and I trust her. And so we're going to run for 15 minutes and it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be better than the 3-hour long run.
Oh
So
yeah.
when you're
And
doing a 3-hour long run, just think of the 15 minutes I did that day.
I'm gonna be like, damn it, I need to shorten my goals
Yeah.
and become faster.
Because if you get faster, then I have to get faster. Like, I need that.
No, I don't want to be faster. I
No.
like where I'm at.
Yes. Yeah.
I like just going out and
That's,
doing it and
yeah.
whatever happens happens.
That's what we're gonna
Um
do. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get so that we can run more
we
together.
can
Not that
party
we can't
pace
run together now,
together.
but like I want to be
Yeah.
able to run more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Yay.
it. All right. I
I
love you.
love it.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. So good to
And
see you.
yeah, good to see you. And you'll have to come back.
Anytime. You let me know.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was. I hope you loved that episode. If you were touched by it in some way, please share it in your Instagram stories, take a screenshot, tag me in your story. I would love to hear what takeaways that you have or a message that you have heard from the episode. I appreciate you being here so much. Don't forget to join our free community on Facebook. The link is in the show notes. If you are interested in joining, it's your effing if you're words are hard. It's your effing breakthrough. We start May 5th. Link is also in the show notes. Thank you so much, Liz, for coming. I just adore you, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.